Hello friends, our today's lab is regarding the BGP packets between two routers when we configure BGP on them. Here we have two routers R1 and R2. Both the routers are connected with each other via serial 2/0 and we have assigned an IP address on R1 serial 2/0 1.1.1.1 and on R2 serial 2/0 1.1.1.2 slash with slash 8. Also we have configure the loopback address on R1 as well as on R2. On R1 the loopback address is 10.10.10.1 and on R2 loopback address is 20.20.20.1. Now we will configure the BGP on these two routers. Currently we are going to configure the IBGP on these two routers, as both the routers are would be in the same AS. So let's start our configuration here. First we will configure our R1. Here we have R1 config terminal host name R1. We will assign the IP address on serial 2/0 interface serial 2/0 no shutdown. IP address would be 1.1.1.1 with 255.0.0.0. Again we will configure an interface loopback 0 no shutdown. IP address would be 10.10.10.1, sorry, 255.255.255.255. Similarly, we will configure our router 2. Config terminal hostname R2 and interface serial 2/0 no shutdown. IP address would be 1.1.1.2 and subnet mask would be 255.0.0.0. Interface loopback 0 no shutdown. IP address would be 20.20.20.1 255.255.255.255. Is done. Currently we have no routing between these two routers. No static routes, no dynamic routing is involved between these two routers. Now we will configure BGP between them. In this case we will configure we will first configure BGP, then we will um, create a neighborship between these two routers. Let's start from R1. As both the routers would be in the same AS, so let's say we have an AS router BGP AS would be 10 and we want to create a neighborship of this router with this router. So here we have neighbor 1.1.1.2. The IP address of this interface remote AS would be 10. Similarly, right now if we see the Wireshark, we have nothing being shown here. So now we will configure R2 router BGP 10 neighbor 1.1.1.1 and remote AS would be 10. Let's see. Here you can see we have received the BGP messages here: open message, keep live message, update message, acknowledge. let's see what is the open message and what's the information in this message. Here we have the open message version of the BGP, AS number, hold timer, and the BGP identifier is the router ID, in fact. And in update message, as we are not um, advertising any network prefixes on both of the routers, so there would be nothing in this update message. Once or if we advertise any in network on these two routers, and then we will be able to see the update messages with our network prefixes. Let's advertise our this loopback address on R1, then we will see in how the update packet changes. So let me advertise the my loopback address. Mask would be 255.255.255.255. Now, sorry, it is, I'm on R2, so I'll advertise 20.20.20.20.1 network. Network 20.20.20.1, mask would be 255. Now let me show you the update message. This is the update message from R2 for R1. Let me check. Here you can see we have path attributes, then we have our NLRI, which will show us the network that we advertised on BGP. So in this lab you can see we are able to see the BGP packets when the BGP initiates or activates on the routers, and moreover we also observed that what contents each packet carries. Now let me show you another thing here. If we want to um, create the neighborship between the loopback addresses, then how we will be able to create neighborship between them. So let me configure the neighborship between loopback addresses and my neighbor 20.20.20.1 remote AS 100 and neighbor 10.10.10.1 remote AS 10. Sorry, this is not 100, this is also 10. Now we can see that we are not able to create the neighborship between these two routers. In order to create the neighborship between these two routers, we have to configure an additional command here. So that command would be update source loopback 0 here. Similarly, update source loopback 0. Now let me show you clear IP BGP static soft show IPBGP summary. Still, we are not able to establish the neighborship. This is because we have no routing involved between these two loopback addresses. So we have to configure a static route from this router for the loopback address of R2. IP route 20.20.20.1 255.255.255.255 1.1.1.2 config terminal IP route 10.10.10.1 and 255.255.255.255 and next hop would be this. Now you will be able to see that neighborship is up now, and show IP BGP. This is blank because we are not advertising any network prefixes on any of the routers. So show IP BGP summary would explain that the neighborship has been established between the loopback addresses. Friend, this is the lab in which you learned how we can establish the IBGP between the two routers, as well as we captured the traffic between these two routers, and we observed that what kind of BGP packets flow between the routers, as well as we in this lab we learned how we can establish the neighborship between two loopback addresses of different routers. So if you have any query regarding this lab, you can ask me in the comments, and don't forget to like my video. I hope you will definitely enjoy and learn more from this video. Thank you.